Hi, welcome to another episode of A Closer Look. I'm Donna Giroux, the Executive Director of CATV, and with me today is Joanne Ehrenhaus. And tell me what your title is, Joanne.
Yeah, hi Donna, nice to be here. My title at Senior Solutions is Community Relations Director, which is a pretty broad topic, but I'm able to oversee a lot of our volunteer efforts, relationships like legislative liaison. I go to the Elder Caucus meetings in Montpelier.
Before we talk about what you, I know you have this huge job. So first let's talk about Senior Solutions. Is it Senior Solutions and the area is Southeast Vermont?
Yes, we were originally started through the Older Americans Act, which is a federal program, and we are the Southeastern Vermont Council on Aging. There is a Council on Aging in each region: Northeast, Northwest, Central, Southeastern, and Southwestern Vermont.
I'm sure for our New Hampshire viewers as well, I'm sure there's councils on aging in New Hampshire, but specifically we're going to...
that they are.
Oh, really?
There are.
Yeah, the state that wants to be so rebellious. Well, so this is a conversation for those viewers who are interested in moving to Vermont or exist in Vermont, right?
That's right. And, you know, we really do serve the 60 and older group, but we also serve people who have disabilities, because, you know, you don't have to wait till you're 60 to be disabled or have, you know, physical problems. There are a lot of benefits and services that we provide to people. It's free of charge to all the clients because, as I said, we were originally funded under the Older Americans Act, and right now our funding sources are about 35% Older Americans Act money, about 35% state money, and some of that's federal, but it comes through the state. About 14 or 15% through grants, and another 8% or so through town funding. And
Yay, towns.
Yeah, oh my gosh, and I have to say that this year, every town we applied for funding through in Windsor and Windham County provided it. At the town vote. We were extremely gratified. I want to thank all the people out there who spoke up and supported us, and let people know, most importantly, that we are here to make aging in Vermont a more pleasant experience, to provide programs for nutrition, health care, you know, all other things.
So many. You know, when I first looked at your website, the plethora of services that you provide, I guess they all sort of funnel through. It was quite extraordinary, but I am going to read this. Your vision, I love the vision. Every person will age in the place of their choice, with the support they need and the opportunity for meaningful relationships and active engagement in their community. That really sums up a lot. And when I look at your programs, obviously you know you're working towards that vision.
Well, that's the plan, because honestly, you can give people additional resources for nutrition. You can give them extra resources for paying for medical costs and all these other things. But something that's truly important across the board for everybody, you don't have to be 60 to need this, you have to have human contact and human connections. And when you're getting up in age and you've been a member of your community, and all of a sudden now you've turned the corner, maybe you're like 80, and you don't get out anymore much because you have difficulty maneuvering around, you're still the same person. Yeah. You still like the same things. You just have trouble accessing it. So that sometimes makes people feel cut off. What happens then? Friends move away or relatives move away. They get lonely. When you get lonely, what can happen? You could get depressed.
You know, we have a fair number of seniors who call in our office because we're one of the lifelines back into their community.
That's exactly
Public access television is very hyper-local, and they find out what's going on.
That is a really great service that you provide, because through that, they do still feel like part of the community, which they are. And we have certain programs that help amplify their ability to remain connected.
Can we talk about some of those
Love
programs?
to, sure. One of them is Meals on Wheels. That's specifically for people, you don't have to be 60 or older. It's specifically targeted to people who cannot get out of the house. Can't get out to go grocery shopping, probably can't cook like they used to. They could be recovering from an operation. You could be 45 years old, but for 2-3 weeks you can't get up and cook. You can get Meals on Wheels for that length of time.
Oh, really? I didn't realize
Yes.
it could be a
Yes.
short duration.
It can. However, what it also does, the Meals on Wheels drivers are so wonderful, and they are a way for people to stay connected. They check on the person. They come to your door, ring the bell. You answer the door and you get to know them. These volunteers are so terrific.
And if somebody wanted to volunteer, would they go through Meals on Wheels, or would they come to you and say,
They can do
"Hey,
it a
we're
number of
interested"?
ways. They could sign up at their local congregate meal site. They can call us. They can call our main office, 802-885-2655.
And we'll put that on the...
And I'll give you all the
that on the-
numbers.
Cool.
I'll give you all the numbers.
All 82.
There's a centralized helpline number that is
Yes.
in operation, and we are right now switching over and also adding a local 885 number for people to call that will ring into our office specifically so we can serve our area.
Okay. And when you say our
yeah.
office, are you talking about the Springfield, Vermont office?
Springfield office. We're the main office, but we have an office in White River Junction, which is
Really?
growing. But you know, we have one case manager now stationed in the White River office, but we're planning to add another one. Our grant coordinator will be permanently located at White River Junction, and we have, you know, we've got some great plans to build out and make our Upper Valley service more robust.
So if for the Windsor watchers, which since we're shooting in a Windsor County
Yeah.
station, it's most of Windsor County. We're just missing a couple of towns that are
Like Bethel
probably-
and Randolph, I believe.
and Royalton and
Royalton.
Sharon. But apart from that, there's all the towns in Windsor
my God.
County and Thetford.
And Thetford. And
we
I
have a lot
thank
of
you for
Thetford
mentioning
watchers,
that.
you know.
Thetford, there happens to be a wonderful community volunteer group up there. It's TEN, that's Thetford Elder Network. And they are very gracious and very, very dedicated volunteers to the community. And I went up to visit them a couple months ago. And because I said, gee, I haven't ever been to Thetford. I need to get up there.
It's a great
And
community.
I met them in the library, and they're just wonderful people. And can't say enough good about them. And they were telling me, oh yeah, well, the Orange County is their location.
Right.
The Orange County Public Little Transportation Bus Service doesn't come into Thetford.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
And there's a lot of services that Orange County provides, but they don't provide it to Thetford.
It's
So
a far reach, I guess.
that has to be the answer. You know, they must be on the wrong side of the mountain or something.
We'll inherit them.
So we'll take them.
Yeah, so
What a great group.
good.
So I want to make sure that we do provide a lot of assistance to them. We're going to be going up with our home meds nurse case manager to.
So you do that as well.
Oh,
so
my
we were
God.
just talking about Meals on Wheels. So
Yeah.
you also do.
Oh, can I go back into Meals on Wheels for a minute?
Absolutely.
Meals on Wheels is so important. And people can, like I said, can sign up for a short time or forever. What's really important to know is we don't cook the meals. We don't serve the meals. We are mandated through the state to have contracts with all the food providers who then, you know, deliver the meals to certain places, and then usually volunteer groups have certain volunteer drivers who are the Meals on Wheels delivery people circulate that. We administer the funds. We have the contract. We also...
So if you don't get your meal, I shouldn't be calling your hotline.
You can
for-
call us and we'll,
Yeah,
we'll
we'll
investigate it. Okay, we have a nutrition director who oversees all of this. Senior Solutions also is mandated to have a registered dietitian who overlooks all the, you know, menus and so forth.
Make sure
But the
it's balanced.
most exciting thing about that,
What?
I found out this year, if you are a Meals on Wheels client here in Windsor or Windham County, you can call our helpline and request a one-on-one consultation with the dietitian.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah,
I mean,
me too.
who wouldn't?
Especially somebody who's on different medications.
Yes.
They really need to be able to make that all work together.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is a wonderful service. So I hope, you know, people out there listening, you know, a lot of people may have food allergies that they're not aware of. If they have certain, you know, illnesses that they're maybe eating the wrong food for.
Right.
This is a nice way to touch base with a nutrition professional who would sit with you and talk to you and explain things. Tell you how to cook, tell you what meals you should be making.
I'd sort of like that too.
I think it's wonderful.
Well, I'm really, wait a second, so the servicers are generally 60 on up, so I have like 1 more year to...
Well, keep going, girl.
I'll give you a call. In a year, I want my
You'll
dietitian
be part
appointment.
of a wonderful group of people. Yeah.
So in addition to Meals on Wheels, I noticed that you listed places on your website for community meals. So if I
Yes.
was mobile, I
Yes.
could, and I wanted a sense of community, I could go to some of these.
Yeah, a lot of them are at senior centers, community centers, some are at town halls. I know there's one down in Whitingham, which is way down at the bottom of the state. Their town office has a facility for the congregate meal.
So do you have to call first and say I'm coming to the meal, or
Not
do you
really.
just show up?
You can just show up, and there's usually a voluntary donation. So if you're, you know, say you live in Whitingham and your family's visiting from Connecticut and you want to bring your sister and brother with you, you can. Just, you know, be nice and throw a couple dollars in the till.
Help contribute to that.
You don't have to. It's totally voluntary. Nobody looks, nobody expects money.
That's a good point, because
Yeah.
a senior who's been contributing to the community all those years, who suddenly
Please, just come.
has financial
Yeah.
hardship,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
we
wouldn't
don't
worry
want to
about
miss
it.
them.
And the fact is, a lot of the benefits and programs that we offer to the aging population in Vermont, it's not charity at all. These are the people
They paid in.
who have worked their whole lives here, raised their families usually. They've probably volunteered in their community when they were able. I like to say they built the schools, they paid the taxes, they have supported everybody around them, and this is our chance to give back.
That's very beautifully said. Really, they've paid it forward already.
Absolutely, and truthfully, if they don't take advantage of these programs and benefits, nobody else can. So
Right, they disappear if there's no recipients.
goes back to the government.
Right.
And I'm very proud of the Vermonters who are independent and don't want to take anything from anyone else, but this is not the case. Anything that you're eligible for as an aging Vermonter is specifically for you, and you're actually going to help your community by taking it, because the study has showed people who go for the 3 Squares program, say you're...
Meaning three meals a day.
Nope.
3 Squares.
Well, it intimates that. It
Okay.
used to be called Food Stamps and SNAP.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
I'm
say I
sorry.
retired in...
I'm still on SNAP. I'm
That's
just not
okay.
hip enough.
That's all right. No worries. If I retired 30 years ago, okay, and got a retirement package, I'm all set. I'm good to go. But look at this. I'm outliving my retirement benefits.
Yeah.
So, and prices have gone up in 30 years. So what was affordable for me 30 years ago now isn't. My electric bill's going up, my utilities for heat is going up, the cost of food is going up, everything's going up. And I'm still getting the amount of money I was living on 30 years ago.
Which is frequently the case.
Yes.
Most of the
So
seniors I know.
anybody who is up in years and is maybe having a little bit of a struggle to figure out should they pay for electric or heat or what kind of food can they possibly get, call us and say you're interested in the 3 Squares program. You can get, and if you're already getting assistance, you might get a little bump up in it. Find out, because we'll screen you and find out what you're eligible for.
And
if
other
you
creative options. So
Oh,
the
yeah.
idea is to make sure everyone is well fed.
We
and
want to
well
make
cared
sure
for.
people are healthy
Yeah.
and doing the best they can. We don't want these resources sitting on a shelf while people are out there suffering. But we have to get the word out, because most Vermonters are not going to ask for help.
Yes, they're stubborn like that.
Yeah, but what's really good is if you use your 3 Squares money that goes into your bank account, what are you doing with it? You're going to spend it in your community buying food and things.
Or you're stimulating
So,
your own economic
yes,
your community's
precisely.
economy.
It has been shown that for every $1 in 3 Squares meals money that's spent in Vermont brings $1.75 back into the community.
That's very cool. So you actually
So
doing
it's
the
an
community a
economic
favor.
driver for your community.
And you still become a
And
vital.
you get better food.
Yeah.
And even better yet, in the summer, well, it depends where you are. The farmers markets, they're expanding their hours now. It's not only, May to September.
They
It's
have
much
some
longer.
winter. I know there's some winter
If
ones.
you have 3 Squares, you get it on your card, you go to the farmers market. You can take the card to the, if they participate, which a lot of them do, they have like a little booth where they collect things. Give them your card. They'll take $10 off your account and give you $20 worth of chips that you can then spend that day at the farmer's market on fresh produce.
Wow. I'm a little jealous at this point.
I know. I'm thinking, how
why
can I get this?
So why is the farmers market willing to double it? Who's financing that?
I
Or it just-
I don't know the background of it.
They're
but
encouraging.
apparently, they're not losing. So I'm sure that there's some arrangement with the 3 Squares program to help offset whatever they're giving away. But it doesn't matter. It works.
Fresh food.
And you can go, you don't have to go once a month. You could go once a week. You could go to 2 different farmers markets.
That sounds super.
It's a wonderful benefit.
Way to
It
keep
really is.
people fed with
And you're helping the
nutritious food.
local farmers.
Yeah,
So it's a win-win.
that is. That's a win-win-win because the community,
That's
the
right.
farmers, the senior.
And
Then, well,
it's
you know
helpful.
what? That sort of segues into transportation because okay,
Yeah.
now I've got my bags and I
Mhm.
need some way to get back from the farmer's market to home.
Well, that's a sticky wicket
I bet it is.
because transportation is difficult at best in Vermont for everybody.
Yes.
We do have roads.
Yeah, we do have roads,
We have trains somewhat.
but there's a lot of mountains. Have you
There's a
noticed
lot
that?
of in-between areas
Yeah.
that have pretty much nothing.
There is.
There are, like the Current down in Wyndham, down in Bellows Falls, does a valiant job taking people to doctor's appointments and having a route around Springfield and Brattleboro, some trips to Dartmouth, Hitchcock, and things like that. But obviously, any form of public transportation is not going to suit everybody's daily needs.
Absolutely.
Some of the care groups can be called and people can say, could I have a ride to someplace, right? And if they have a volunteer to do it, fine. It's very difficult.
Some church communities are
Most people
supportive.
depend on their friends and relatives. That's just the way it is. It's not ideal. But then no transportation model that I'm aware of is built on a rural basis. Most transportation models that can support themselves are urban models.
Right.
We are not an urban state. Oh, if you live in Burlington, no problem.
Right, or maybe Brattleboro. Or,
Brattleboro, but it's still, limited.
Mhm.
But I think that most of these community buses really try to respond to the majority of the need that they can figure out.
Right, like,
If you look at
going to-
I've looked at the route folder, the route brochure in Brattleboro. Oh my God, multi-page, the orange route, the gray route, the green route, the brown route, the blue route. They really are trying hard, but it is a little complicated. I believe that the Current down in Bellows Falls does have a program that you can request, and it is to help figure out the routes. It's like a travel planning program because
help people.
it's a challenge.
So, and up here in this area, there is public transit that goes into some of our communities, so that's helpful as well.
Yeah, and the thing is, so, when we meet with people talking about transportation, most of the aging population is appreciative of the ability to call ahead 48 hours and get a ride to a doctor's appointment. Okay, great. older Vermonters don't only want to go to doctor appointments. I'm
Now,
sorry,
if
they
the-
like to
if
go
the
to
market
concerts.
is next to the doctor.
Yes,
That's cool. Yeah.
sure. They would love to go to the post office, the bank, concerts, museums, shopping, you name it. But there are some alternatives which are not, totally geared for that. But one of the reasons our Friendly Visitor program is so popular is because depending on the volunteer and depending on the client, they've been known to take people to the bank, take people to the supermarket.
So you have a volunteer program.
We
that
have
will,
a phenomenal Friendly Visitor program.
That's what it's called, Friendly Visitor.
Friendly Visitor program.
Cool.
And
So people are I think people are probably afraid a stranger.
well,
That's,
they would be, except that we get clients who call and say, my mother could use a Friendly Visitor. She's all alone, and she's getting, somewhat reserved and maybe a little slightly depressed, but she's not there yet, but we don't want her to be. But we live in another state.
Yes.
We can't be there all the time. So our volunteer coordinator finds a volunteer in that area
Very nice.
and tries to match people up. Before you get there, if you want to be a volunteer, which is the most important, we can't serve a community if there are no volunteers there.
So that's for everyone who's watching.
So if
you're
you-
spry and
Yes.
mobile and you want to
Yes.
volunteer, and I guess you can just go visiting, right?
Yes, you can give 2 hours a week, 10 hours a week, whatever you feel comfortable with. We'll match you with a client who really could use a friend.
That's it.
Because, if you, studies have shown, if you don't have a friend or someone that you regularly talk to, keep in touch with, the health effect on you is the same as smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So if you're
That's terrible.
isolated and you have nobody to talk to, it's a real detriment to your health. And then think of
Really?
all the mental benefits and the happiness factor.
Right.
That's wonderful.
Just to
And
laugh.
it benefits not only the client, but our volunteers become very attached to their clients. They really become friends.
Super.
And they can enjoy, a little gardening together, reading a book to the person, whatever it is. You figure it out. We do a background check on our volunteers, scrupulous training,
Good.
constant, meetings and support and resources and, continuing education. We also try to do a couple of thank you events during the year to acknowledge the dedication and sacrifice that people are giving up their time. But most of the time, the volunteers are just so happy to be helping somebody.
Frequently when you give, you benefit. I mean, it just
Yeah.
is, the glow of helping others.
Yeah,
so
makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that in the Windsor County, we have a real deficit of volunteers.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody.
So anybody out there here in Windsor County,
yeah.
you call either the helpline number, which we'll show you
We'll
on the
show
screen,
you on the screen, right?
or call our office, which we'll show you on the screen, and say you want to be
A
a
friend.
friendly visitor.
A friendly visitor. I think
Yes.
it's similar with like children's mentoring programs. People are afraid that if they commit to something and after 2 months they really don't.
You can adjust
feel-
the hours,
the
days, whatever. It
that-
can be flexible.
That's it.
Yeah.
I guess they're afraid of disappointing.
And
So-
if you have a client and it turns out it's not a good match, well, you can switch.
Different volunteer.
Yeah, I mean, it's really wonderful. Right now, we have about 22 volunteers who are doing this. We have 2 other programs that are related. One is the Senior Companion Program. That's a federal program for people who are retired, of 60, 65 years old, have a limited income. So there is an income threshold to qualify. However, it gives you a $2.75 hour stipend, which isn't a lot, but it pays for incidentals. Yeah, and you get mileage.
Good. So what is it called? It's called the
Senior Companion
Companion.
Program. Yeah.
So the idea is for you to be the companion for a senior.
Yes, for
Okay.
15 hours a week. It could be
Wait, so
one
as-
person or 3 people at 5 hours a week.
Right, but I have to be over 60, or it doesn't?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's why it's called the Senior Companion. You're a senior. And
You're a senior and you're the companion
Yeah,
to another
yeah,
senior.
that's right.
Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah, it's a really nice program. It's a little more rigid because it's a federally funded program and they have requirements, et cetera. It's very nice. Right now, I think we have about 5 senior companions, and they really spend more time usually with the person. So they do become close. And it is hard because sometimes the person that you're visiting doesn't last as long as you want them to.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, people
So
who
you
lose their
friends. Yeah.
friend. But it's a great program. We have wonderful people, and it's so dedicated. And again, a background check and so forth and so on, and the same kind of really structured training and support, so that if you come across any incident that wasn't expected, there are people you can call, and our volunteer coordinator is unbelievable. She was hoping to retire and only worked like 20 hours a week. No, it's never going to happen.
Well, now does that have to do with that there's such a need that Windsor County and Windham County have so many seniors?
Yes.
You were talking to me
that's
about
right.
that. Yeah, tell me about the vortex.
Thank you. Yes, many people know that Vermont is the second oldest state in the Union. What they may not realize
Which means we have more seniors.
We have more seniors
okay.
per capita than 48 other states. I think Maine is the oldest. They have more older population per capita than we do, but second is pretty incredible. Well, within that framework of being the second oldest state in the Union, Windsor County is the oldest county in the state. So that's why I call Windsor County the aging vortex of Vermont.
That's where all my peeps are.
No kidding. And that's not a negative thing, because
No, I
believe
think
it or
it's
not,
extraordinary.
if you would take a survey in the entire state of all the volunteer nonprofit organizations, and you would try to calculate the average age of every volunteer in this state, I'm telling you, they'd all qualify for Older Americans Act programs, because most of the volunteers are over 60.
Yeah. Well, you have a little more time,
Well, that's right. You've been a professional or been working,
right.
and you don't want to just
you're
sit.
wiser, right? You're wiser, and
But
you're creative.
They
and
are such a resource.
absolutely.
So the fact that we have a lot of older people is not negative. Older people are the same that they were when they were 35. They just have a few more wrinkles, and maybe
Really? We're a little lumpier. We're a little thinner or a little lumpier.
but they're the same people. And they're wonderful, and they bring so much knowledge and caring and history to the table. So
And no
it's
extra
great.
drama. I think as we
No.
age, we just
They're
sort of-
secure in
yeah,
themselves.
exactly. Feel good about what
And the
we're
fact
doing.
that they're willing to help other older Vermonters who are maybe a little bit older or maybe a little
20
more
years older,
infirm.
yeah.
It's just such a wonderful interface. It works so well.
Joanne, we're gonna have to wrap up. We
Okay.
have so much to talk about. I
Yeah.
would love for you to come back, because we just talked about buddies and transportation and
We're
Meals
scratching
on
the
Wheels.
surface.
Exactly. So if anyone is interested in finding out all of the services that are available to them in Windham and Windsor County, they can go to. Do you know your website?
Yes, www.
Senior.
SeniorSolutionsVT.org.
That's great. So promise me you'll come back.
Absolutely.
All right.
If you'll have me.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So if you want to be a host on A Closer Look, we would love to have someone other than me hosting. And if you want to be a guest, you have something you want to talk about, please give us a call at CATV. It's 802-295-6688. Have a nice day.